Hey, Michael here from Beer Baseball Blog, The Adventures of Craft Beer and Baseball. This is the Beer Baseball Blogcast, episode 6, June 9th, 2020. Wherever you are watching us live today, please give a comment, let us know you're out there. And we'd always appreciate if you subscribe and turn on those notifications. So let's get to it. The lineup card today. Angelo Trinidad, a fun fact, his birthday was on Sunday, June 7th. Hello, Angelo.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
I am fantastic. Happy birthday to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Kevin Lyon is fashionably late. He is the Foster Brooks of our Beer Baseball blog. You can look that one up. That's an old reference. A fun fact, his birthday is actually in 3 weeks from today. So I'm sure he has an Amazon wish list that he wants everybody to get into. I am Michael Mond.
And in his defense, he's late because he was on assignment, correct?
He was on assignment. I will give him that. He's always on assignment. He's always doing something for me. He's a gopher, but also the senior research analyst.
Absolutely.
I am Michael Mondragon. My birthday was 5 months ago, so no one cares, and I've had too many birthdays to even care about.
Well, Michael, I care, and happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much.
Happy belated birthday and happy ery birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've had a couple. I've been 21. I say twice, and some change. Yeah, just happy to be here, and this is always fun as always. And without further ado, let's bring in Kevin Lyon.
Oh,
Kevin.
Hopefully, there I am.
There you are.
Literally, as you said,
Kevin.
we're on the mic. I'm here.
I know. We were making you sweat it out.
Crazy assignment here. You got me on crazy Tuesday, Michael, but I got it. I got the beer.
All right. And so let's go back here. It was Angelo's birthday yesterday, so Kevin and I got this for Angelo. There's some shirts from Baseballism, Beer Nuts, and Beer. We really go out. Wait a minute, I'm being told. I'm being told in my headset. His wife got this for him. Our presents haven't come yet. So tell us about this, Angelo. What's going on here?
Yeah, so this was awesome. So it's my wife always tells me I'm one of the hardest people to shop for, because there's not really a lot of stuff that I spend my money on, and so because of she's ultra supportive of this new project, and she knows how much I miss baseball, she decided to put together a beer baseball basket for me. So as you can see, I'm already wearing one of the shirts that she got for me, the Portland Roses Baseballism t-shirt. But she picked up a few shirts from one of my favorite stores, Baseballism. She picked up some baseball socks for me, some random snacks, and 6 beers that I've actually never tried before. As I was telling you guys, a lot of these beers are IPAs or heavier on the IBU side. So beers that aren't technically in my wheelhouse. So I'm really looking forward to getting to try some of those. And one of them I'll be trying today too, but super thoughtful gift. And I appreciate your guys' well wishes. But yeah, it was an awesome surprise.
And we have some birthday wishes. Ed, as out there, says, Feliz cumpleaños. You're Filipino. You're not Mexican, right?
It's okay.
They speak a lot of Spanish over there in the Philippines, though.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. And Daily Sports Talk also says, happy birthday.
Thank you.
And All Angels Podcast. Kevin really knows how to make an entrance, and I totally agree on that one.
That's no lie.
Yeah.
That's the wrestling background. That's the wrestling background, what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll be talking more about the All Angels Podcast at the end of the show. All right, so let's get to my favorite segment right away is what are you drinking? I actually skipped ahead. So Angelo Trinidad, what are you drinking?
So I'm drinking the Stone Brewing Tropic and Thunder Lager. So this is a Tropic of Thunder Lager. This is a tropical lager, 5.8 ABV, and you guys will be proud of me. 58 IBU.
Oh, look at you.
Whoa.
So, and this is my beer mug that was also in my beer baseball basket. So I will get the live pour going. as we move on. But I'm
Wow,
really excited about this.
That does sound higher for a lager too.
Yeah. Highway to the danger zone. Look out, Angelo.
Yes.
And Kevin, what are
Yes,
you
sir.
drinking, sir?
This is, as you can see on the screen, something I like about my beer sometimes. I like a good beer pun, and especially this one's horror related, so even better. I saw this and I was out and I'm like, I have to get one of these. It's called 28 Haze Later. So, Angelo, you can laugh at this. It's a 6.8% ABV, which is, normally my level for an IPA, but 45 IBU. How about that? So yours is a little more bitter than mine. And, once you get back to me, you might be able to see a little haze. You can see the haze. 28 Haze Later. Northeast IPA. Just trying it now.
Yeah, and it has Mosaic, Citra, and Galaxy hops. All of my favorites in there. So really good. And because is it juicy or is it more hoppy?
It's not because it is a lower IBU. It's not that hoppy to me.
Yeah.
So it is a little juiciness to this. This is good.
Well,
especially after running around an assignment. Let me tell you, I rushed in. I'm like, it's 5. Get on the air.
There you go. There you go. Thanks for joining. All right, and and who are you wearing tonight?
Oh, who am I wearing? I didn't know you were asking this. So I'm representing teams. I went on a vacation once. This is the Akron Rubber Ducks. I wore that last week. But on the same trip, I got this one, the Erie Sea Wolves. Actually, I believe they're both the same. I think they're both in the Eastern League, both AA level. And Erie is actually one of the teams that's on the chopping block. I much hate to say it like that. One of the teams that might be taken out of MILB.
Yeah. So again, thanks for joining. And I had a Belching Beaver beer last week. And I also have a hazy IPA as well. So the hazer's gonna haze. Damn good times. So this is really great. This is 6.6 ABV. It doesn't have an IBU, which is sometimes they don't measure it. So it's going to be a little bit more juicy. I'm figuring. Yeah. So it's really caught my eye. So I definitely had to have it. And I love the hazy IPAs. So Belching Beaver out of Oceanside, California. I'm not sure if I said that. I think I said San Diego last time, but more towards Oceanside.
I feel like I missed the boat this week with the haze. We got 28 Haze Later. Hazer's gonna haze. Man, no one gave me the memo. But I will tell you, I want to try both of those beers strictly because of the names.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we try so many beers just because of the name, and so we do that quite a bit. So we'll be sharing a lot of those puns. Everything's very punny nowadays. All right, so let's get into it. This week in baseball history, and researching this one was really tremendous because it was 50 years ago this happened. On June 12, 1970, Doc Ellis throws a 2-0 no-hitter against the Padres in San Diego during the first game of a twin bill doubleheader. The Pirates right-hander later claims he was under the influence of LSD while tossing the most memorable game of his career. So, let's stop right here. So this is a often talked about game because it was in 1970, 50 years ago. There's very little footage on it, which I'm actually very surprised about. The Padres were actually only in their second year, and they were playing at the I guess it was San Diego Coliseum, but it became Jack Murphy and Qualcomm.
Yep.
Yeah. So, what do you guys have? I mean, Angelo, you're much younger than us, but do you have any memories of hearing about this?
Yeah. So I'll be honest. I mean, the first time I heard about this was we have a group text with us and several others. That was the first I ever heard of it. And obviously, what they did is I went into this big rabbit hole of reading different articles. There's actually an animated short on YouTube. That's hilarious. Yeah. Mike, you'll have to link everybody on some of our social media outlets. But and I'm so enthralled by this story, and it's just it's mind blowing. And then, but then I think about it, it's like, well, it was the 70s, it was 50 years ago, so I guess somewhat acceptable, right? What really got me is I believe in the series of events, he was hanging out with some friends in Los Angeles and wasn't even in San Diego. So I'm assuming that meant if you didn't pitch, you didn't have to be at the stadium if you weren't scheduled to pitch or something like that. So I found that really as an interesting tidbit. But and also, I mean, the fact that he had no idea that he was scheduled to start that day till his buddy looked in the newspaper and said, "Hey, it says you're starting today."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, super interesting, and it's really captivated me over the last several days. And I can't tell you over the course of the weekend how many people I've shared this story with, because it's so damn entertaining.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot more to this story as we will document. Kevin, what are your how did you first hear about this?
It was sounded similar to what Angelo said a few years ago. That video surfaced, and I'm watching this. I'm like, what? It's just like fascinating. Like, how does this happen? And just like, and even he said, like, how is it that a player isn't even with the team? I didn't even piece together that, like, oh wait, he was in LA. I'm like, was he in Pittsburgh and they had to get to San Diego? I'm like, oh, he lived in LA. And, I did a little bit more research, and I'm guessing you'll talk about it, but I'm going to mention it now. I finally got a chance to watch. There's a full documentary on him called No, a documentary. And it's on a service called Tubi, Tubi. It was on Netflix forever, and I was going to watch it. And I'm like, it's not on Netflix. But on this service, it's up there right now. Just get an account. It's free. I was watching it. I finished watching it today before I went on assignment. And just there's so much more to this guy than just this story. It's just the tip of the iceberg finding out about this guy, because he's such an interesting person, and he did so much good. Like, almost, and I'm sure he would make sense too in retrospect. He did so much more off the field than he did on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I watched that documentary that you just mentioned, and we'll mention it later in this segment. But that cartoon thing that you're talking about, Angelo, was based off of this documentary. They took the audio from it and made a animated version of it, which is tremendous. And it's I will definitely share that, because I have if you look in our playlist, I have a Beer Baseball Blogcast references playlist. So that's within that. So awesome. And Doc Ellis was actually he grew up in Los Angeles. So when they came back, and they had a day off, so they were coming back, and and I'm going to mention this also because there's so many questions about this game. But yeah, he because he actually asked the manager, because he lives in Los Angeles, could he go back home for the day, and they let him. So he and it says it in the documentary what he did and how he timed it. So he could actually take his LSD and then it would hit him at a certain time. So it was pretty tremendous. So, and this is from that animated short. But I actually wanted to go, and I actually wanted to actually look at the game, because nobody talks about the game. They talk about the fact that he's on LSD, no hitter, right? But he pitched 9 innings. No hits, no runs, actually 8 walks. And he actually hit a batter too, and 6 strikeouts. And it's I think I saw on Saber that he potentially pitched 150 pitches. So I mean, that's unheard of today, right?
Yep.
What's not talked about is he batted 3 times.
Oh, God.
And that is not even talked about, not even mentioned.
I'd love to see footage of those at bats.
Right, that's exactly what I said.
And Angelo, even the documentary, that's like, I think they're just using other footage from other games or something.
Yeah,
it's like
Mm-hmm.
On the YouTube video, the cartoon video, there's at least the play-by-play of the radio guy calling the end of the no-hitter.
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing is an actual radio announcer. I don't know if it is.
Yeah, it's hard to say. And back then, it's like, especially in the early days of, like, when franchises, they didn't have everything together, and again, it's like, I always say, like, 1970, it's still basically the 60s. because it's like early 70s. So technology isn't what it was. They weren't recording everything like they do now. But I thought this was a really interesting stat to look at. So let's look who was behind him. So obviously, a lot of people would know Roberto Clemente on the left. Willie Stargell actually hit 2 solo home runs for the only runs of the game.
Oh, wow.
So that's also not talked about either. But the guy on the right, do you know? I'm going to ask Angelo. Angelo, do you know the man on the right?
I'm going to know the answer.
No, I mean, I could try to read the autograph, but I'm not even going to attempt.
Okay, Kevin, I'll let you go for it.
I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think Bill Mazeroski was even still playing baseball at this point. I'm like, he's still on the Pirates then?
So I looked at the lineup, and it's like, oh my God, like Bill Mazeroski. So for those who don't know, 11 years earlier, he hit a walk-off 9th inning home run in Game 7 of the 1960 World Series against the Yankees. It's the only time someone has walked off the World Series in Game 7 with a home run. So that was 11 years ago. And so he had 3 Hall of Famers behind him. And I was surprised, too, that he was still hanging on at the time.
Is Bill a Hall of Famer? I didn't know if he was or not.
Oh, you know what? I just assumed on that. You may want to look that up. I assumed that he was.
My research.
Do your job, senior research.
I know.
I'm on it. Someone might beat me to it, but was Al Oliver on the team at that point too? Because that's another like borderline Hall of Famer. You know?
Yeah, he's not a Hall of Famer, but he was on the team, and we mentioned that. We mentioned that actually coming up in a few more segments here.
All right, I will mention. I will stand corrected. Bill Mazeroski is in the Hall of Fame as of 2005.
I thought so. That's why he's here.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And again, it's like when you talk about going down a rabbit hole of these games. So like I'm taking these top level things and I'm diving deep. And when I find out more about these games, it's like amazing. And it's like it's a huge oh my God, it's a huge rabbit hole because when I started doing it, I started finding out more and more and more about different things, which really surprised me. So let's go here. So next year, on July 13th, 1971, Doc Ellis, who said to the press earlier that Sparky Anderson wouldn't pitch 2 brothers against each other, actually does start against Vida Blue of the Oakland A's in the 1971 All-Star Game in Detroit. Now, this, again, 50 years ago, and this was a big thing. 2 black men pitching against each other was like something that was like not controversial, but hadn't happened yet. And now, I mean, it would easily happen, obviously. But it was a big deal back then. And Doc Ellis was super, really vocal. And he became known as kind of like a Muhammad Ali type, where he would call out these types of things and really knew how to manipulate the media with these things. And I think put pressure on Sparky Anderson, who was manager of the Reds at the time, to actually start him. I don't think that there was much that he had to do. Actually, let me go back here. I'm sorry. I have it in my other notes. So Doc was actually 14-3 with a 2.10 ERA at the time, with a 12-game winning streak. He was 19-9 in the 1971 season. So he was a great pitcher, right?
Oh my God.
But then I went down the rabbit hole of looking at Vida Blue. Vida Blue, oh my God. Like in 1971, Vida had 17 wins at the All-Star break. So he was always a 17-game winner.
My God.
He was 24-8 that year, 301 strikeouts, 8 shutouts, a 1.82 ERA.
Oh my.
And he was the 1971 Cy Young and AL MVP that year.
Wow.
And it's like when I started like researching it, I'm like, how do people forget that? Like, what an amazing season that was. And so I mean, we're talking about Doc Ellis, but like I found out about Vida Blue, how amazing and dominant he was.
And you know what? And this is right at the beginning of the A's having an amazing dynasty, because starting in 72, they won like the next 3 World Series from 72 to 74. Because I don't know if you haven't mentioned up, is Reggie coming up in this?
He is, and
Okay,
that was
so
going to be my
anything-
next note. So
it ties into this.
what happened with Reggie Jackson in this game?
There's a really famous home run in this game where Reggie hits a home run off Doc that literally left the ballpark in Detroit.
Yeah.
It's an insane home run. You might have seen it, Angelo, and not even realize it's one of the biggest home runs of All-Star history. It's crazy.
Like if you watch The Natural, it's basically that same home run where it hits the light tower off the roof. And it's the only thing that didn't happen was all the lights going out and all the big explosion. But it was that home run. I didn't even realize he hit it off Doc Ellis as well.
I didn't either until I watched the movie. Yeah. Oh, and fun things that you mentioned at Muhammad Ali, because I have to hear I mention this later. There's a Muhammad Ali bit in the No documentary where he actually meets him.
And he does like the Ali shuffle and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's like the comparisons to him, and then they met him in the clubhouse one time. They talk about that. So again, like as I started researching more and more, that same year in 1971. The Pirates start a lineup of all African American and Latino players for the first time in baseball history. Wow. So you were talking about Al Oliver. He's on the bottom row, second from the left. Yeah. But like, this is incredible. Like, and from what I know, from what they said, they didn't even know or care at the time. And it would just happened.
What they said in the documentary is, I think it was one of the Bat Boys said, "Hey, look, it's the Homestead Grays," right. And they're all like, "What?" And then a little bit later, like, "Oh," because the Latino players and the African American players, they were all like the same people. You know what I mean? They were like a minority. They all consider themselves almost black. You know, it was kind of interesting seeing them. You know, because they're all experiencing similar experiences. It's especially at that point, in 1971. You know.
Absolutely. And so can you imagine in this day and age, Angelo, like to have like a team, like it might be brought up, but it might not be brought up in these days. Right. Like what would you say about that?
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I mean, it's kind of 50-50 on if it would be brought up or not. And I think, I don't necessarily think it would happen intentionally, but I think it could happen kind of just like it did on September 1st, 1971, where it wasn't even designed or planned to be that way. You know, when you look at, especially baseball is so different from basketball and football to in regards to, you put your best lineup out there dependent on the pitching that you're facing, right? So that doesn't really happen in any other sport. Mm-hmm. So in this case, they may have just put the best lineup out there from a hitting matchup perspective, and also from a defensive standpoint, and that's kind of what we'd see today.
Yeah, absolutely. And
there you go.
And it all turned out that the 1971 World Champions were the Pittsburgh Pirates, who beat the Baltimore Orioles in 7 games, and. So like I believe the Pirates won 99 games that year. Wow. And so like they would actually win the World Series in 1979 as well, and that is the last time that they won a World Series.
They beat the Orioles in both of those, didn't they?
They did.
79's a bitter year for Angel fans. Sorry.
Yeah, but the Orioles came back in '83. So they won in '83. All right. So in 2 years later, 1973, after Ebony Magazine ran a feature on his Superfly hairstyle, Doc Ellis was sent a letter by Commissioner Bowie Kuhn ordering him to cease and desist wearing of the curlers onto the field of play. Now, he didn't wear them in a game, but he wore them like this. It was like before games and everything. Angelo, would you ever wear curlers in your hair?
The answer is always yes. Yeah, particularly if I had hair. I would rock it. So I appreciate you targeting me without
Oh,
question.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
It's okay.
Kevin, would you ever wear curlers?
I can answer that question.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know if that'd be my best look, but I can say I don't have photographs, but I remember in the late 70s, my father and I had matching like Don Sutton perms. I think you
Oh.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did I ever buy a photo?
I'd kill for a Don Sutton perm right now.
Maybe not. I think it's easier. As someone who hasn't gotten a haircut in like 3 or 4 months, I'm so worried about my hair. It feels gross underneath my hat here. But yeah, now this is pretty interesting because we have actually Kevin and I have a connection to this.
Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we talked about the Shrine of Eternals in a couple blogcasts ago. So following his 1999 Shrine of Eternals induction, Doc donated to the baseball reliquary all of the. Sorry, I can never say that. All of the hair curlers and rods that he wore in 1973. Kevin, do you know that we saw this in 2016?
Yes, I know we did. Because this is about the first time we heard the reliquary. Do you have a slide about this exhibit, or are we just talking about it?
No, just talk about it over there.
So the Skirball Museum had a baseball-related exhibit tying into different nationalities and things like that. And one of the things they had on display were these curlers, and we're just like, Doc Ellis, the guy who pitched the no-no on acid? We're like, what is this? And, and that's around the time we heard about the reliquary, and we started looking more into things from there. So that exhibit actually opened up, a whole new, world for us for discovering more things about baseball.
Yeah, it was called Chasing Dreams, Baseball and Becoming American. Yeah. And it was at the Skirball Center in Los Angeles. And we actually, the Skirball Center is more of a Jewish center, if I'm not mistaken. So we thought we were going to go see kind of like more like Jewish related things. And we saw this and was like, oh my gosh. And we couldn't take pictures in there. That was one of the things that they wouldn't allow anybody to take pictures. So I was super happy to see this.
I probably snuck a couple.
Yeah. And, but they had people walking around and making sure, but it's like, I couldn't believe we actually saw these curlers. So what else was I going to say about this? So Doc Ellis was one of the first inductees, Kevin.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes.
If not the first.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty cool too. I didn't even know that.
Right on. Very good.
Yeah, and so I'll post. There's actually a link that I will actually share. It actually goes over kind of like the person that kind of negotiated this kind of trade, but also talks about the letter that Jackie Robinson wrote right before he died. He wrote Doc about keeping up his fight. Don't back down. You're gonna get all this kind of heat, but keep on going because this message needs to be heard.
Angelo, so what I didn't see in there, the reason why people like Bowie Kuhn and people were trying to tell him you can't wear this is that those curlers were not considered part of the baseball uniform.
Well, and I get part of that for sure.
But, yeah, I mean, but he's wearing it during a game. Like you'll see there's photos with him wearing his hat, and the colors are underneath it, but it's not like it's during an actual game.
Right.
Yeah. So this blew my mind through the documentary as well. He was actually in the 1986 movie Gung Ho.
Wow.
Thank you.
How did I not know that?
I don't know how I didn't know that either. I saw that in the theater. Gosh.
I know, and that is so. I mean, that's just amazing. Like, and the fact that he's just prominent right there. For those not familiar, Gung Ho is a night.
I have to ask Angelo. Do you know what this movie is?
It's sad to say I don't.
Okay. I had a feeling. That's all right. Go ahead.
So, Gung Ho was a 1986 American comedy film directed by Ron Howard, starring Michael Keaton. The story portrayed the takeover of an American car plant by a Japanese corporation. So, this I didn't know. The movie was filmed on location in Pittsburgh with location shots in Tokyo and Argentina. So, of course, Doc Ellis in a Pittsburgh movie makes all the sense in the world. Now I remember seeing it, but I'm like, nah, it can't be. And I didn't even question it But during the softball scene, now if you see the guy right there on the right, that's George Wendt. He was in Cheers.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and he's the one who he barrels over the Japanese boss at the plate, I believe. So, but it's is it a great movie, Kevin, or is it an okay movie?
Yeah, I only watched it once in the theater in 1986 or whatever it was. I remember laughing at it, but some of the humor probably went over my head. But you know, like the whole topic, it is kind of a controversial theme because that era, if you grew up in the 80s, it was like Japan's taking over America. You know what I mean? Things are leaving America. So it's like, this is a real, like, oh my gosh, this is an American story. So, you know, it's Ron Howard too. So he's probably looking on sending a message with this film. And
and
I
it was
never
like,
liked it, but I was 11. So who knows if I like it now.
Well, yeah, right after that is like all the Detroit stuff went down, where that, you know, they lost all that as well. So as we mentioned, all of this stuff can be found in No, a documentary, which is fantastic, by the way. I watched it again last night. Completely worth your time. It was from 2014. This is where the animated short comes from, which we, if you look in YouTube in our playlist, we have a Beer Baseball Blogcast references. The animated short is in there. There's also clips from this documentary as well. So I again, 50 years, Doc Ellis pitches a no-hitter on LSD. Really quickly, Angelo, have you ever done anything on we'll say a substance that you regret?
Regret?
Or happy about?
Yes.
So
Watch out,
I cannot confirm or deny that I've been on any substances. However, about 2 years ago, my wife and I were going through the purchase process of our house, and it also happened around the time as when we took a family vacation to Vegas. So when we were on the phone with our loan officer trying to take care of all these financials, we were sitting poolside at the Excalibur with the kids, and I was undisclosed number of drinks in. And as part of that conversation, I also had to contact my work's human resources department to request a physical pay stub during that time frame as well. So, but we got the house, we love it, and it all turned out good. But I don't remember half the questions she answered me or she asked me.
Wow.
Now we may have to do a whole segment on this for Kevin, but can you pick one?
How dare you? Drug addict. Excuse me, sir. I mean, I'm sure I've had plenty of drinks, like right now. But a funny one I'll talk about, and it's going to tie in with what I'm wearing here.
Okay.
Am I allowed to say whose bachelor party I was at? Is that
sure?
It was a former guest of the show, Top Gun Talwar. A group of us were at his house for a bachelor party over a weekend in San Diego. It was Sunday. I was flying out that night to start my next part of my vacation. I ended up eating a brownie. I'll just say that. And next thing I know, I'm at the airport to fly overnight to Atlanta and then on to Akron Canton Airport, Akron Rubber Ducks. And as I'm waiting to go through security, all of a sudden I just don't feel normal. I probably felt like no on the mound. And I'm like, the worst flight of my life. I'm like, am I able to get on this plane? And I kept it cool. I got on the plane. I sat down. I woke up in Atlanta, and I'm like, I'm already in Atlanta, and I still feel great. And I'm like, falls back asleep in the next plane, wake up in Akron. I felt perfect, and I got a car, went straight to see the Akron Rubber Ducks, the first start on the next part of a great baseball vacation.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome, and amazing that these days, actually being on having a brownie is probably the least of your worries, right?
Well, it's legal now. I mean, I didn't have a medical card for whatever's in that brownie, but
you cannot confirm or deny that you had a brownie.
Oh, thanks. Oh, what's this? A brownie? Great, thanks.
So, real quick, I will say mine. The last time that I was in Iowa, I went to go see the Iowa Cubs, and I actually I was I was walking out of the Iowa Cubs game, and I saw somebody. They had a PWG shirt, and in Iowa, right, Des Moines, Iowa.
Wow.
So I actually walked up to him, and I walked up to him, and I put my arm around him, and I go, do you like PWG? And he goes, yeah, I love PWG. And I said, like, I started PWG, and they're like, huh? Wait, what? And I said, and then I told him that I was one of the PWG 6 and Disco Machine, and he goes, oh my God. So we actually walked over to a place that's right, I guess it's right north of where the Iowa Cubs are. Of course, beers were on him. And on my way back to the hotel, I have a bad habit. I usually have a backpack. It's like a clear backpack that I wear, and I put my thumbs in it, and I walk back to my hotel. Well, I didn't see some uneven ground, and I hit the ground pretty hard, with my chin.
Oh no!
And and I scuffed up my chin, and I will not confirm or deny that the free alcohol afterwards influenced me. So So it was a great lesson in, like, I have to be kind of conscious. I also lost my glasses too. So that was a bummer too. So
Michael, I was thinking something worse. I thought he was gonna look at you and say, "Who? Who are you?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
2014.
That could have happened very easily as well.
I was like, "Oh no."
All right. That aside, it is time for Baseball Card Pack Wars. Angelo Trinidad with a big comeback, 2-0 last week.
Let's
for
see
his
those updated standings.
You can't wait to see it. Here are the Baseball Card Pack Wars rules. You open your pack. A relic card knocks out one participant of choice. If you get an autograph card, you win the round. After all packs are opened, if we don't get a relic or an autograph, high number card wins. Collectively drink when we get a Brewers card. As always, we get all of our cards from Hall of Fame Baseball Cards in Arcadia, California. So let's see the standings real quick. Kevin with a big comeback, but still 500. Yeah. So
comeback. I'm going down. Angelo's making the comeback.
Yeah, exactly. So I even though that Angelo's making, he's still 3 behind me, or like, and that I'm miserable, by the way. So let's do this. All right. So Angelo, since you were the big winner last week, you make the choice of what we're going to open.
All right, we'll start with Topps Opening Day 2020.
All right. Ready?
Right on. Thanks to everybody in the comments. Let us know if you've liked anything so far, and give us a shout out.
Michael, I didn't notice your Manny Sanguine shirt.
I didn't. Yes, I meant to actually make mention of that. Manny Sanguine.
I'm sorry.
So I've been waiting to wear this for like a year and a half. Go for it, Angelo.
So Adalberto Mondesi, which, I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but there's striking resemblance there.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We got Aristides Aquino.
Yep.
Nico Goodrum. Victor Robles. Scott Kingery. Kyle Seager. And one of my favorite ballparks I visited opening day at then Safeco Field, now T-Mobile Park.
Nice. Go for it, Kevin.
All right. Now, can I ask while I'm opening this, since I mentioned Manny Sanguine, did you mention his barbecue at the stadium?
I did not. No.
Right.
And you had it, right?
At PNC Park, and he's there. You can meet him. I said hello to him when I went there years ago. It's weird seeing the White Sox for this gentleman, but because he's not there any longer, I believe he has money gone down.
Yep.
Freddie Freeman. Let's see here. Dominic Smith on the Mets. Nelson Cruz. Dakota Hudson. And sorry, I got two more. Matt Chapman from the A's. And this is cool. I didn't see one of these. The Willie Mays statue at whatever the stadium's called now. It's gone through
That's
so many
awesome.
names.
It's called
What's the current stadium now?
Oracle, or is it Oracle Park?
Is it Oracle? It seems like
Oracle
it's changed
Park,
5 times in the last 20 years.
Yeah,
Mine was
exactly.
AT&T Park. Regardless, fantastic stadium. One of the
Yeah,
best.
fantastic! I love it so much.
They have the best. They have the best candied nuts there. So good.
Oh, I haven't tried that.
Yeah,
so good.
They have Ghirardelli and the garlic fries as well.
Oh, garlic fries are great too.
The crab
Absolutely.
sandwich is like 20 something
Oh,
bucks.
that's right, crab sandwich. Oh my God, so much good stuff there.
So good.
All right,
Sorry.
so I'm up. Max Fried. We haven't had any Brewers yet, right?
No.
Ahmed
No.
Rosario.
Hold on, I need a drink.
Yeah, Merrill Kelly. Jorge Polanco. Garrett Cooper. Jacob deGrom.
There you go.
And someone who's actually on my Coors Field video, if you look in my videos when I went to Colorado, Dinger.
Awesome.
Oh,
Do you know why it is a dinosaur?
No idea.
I guess I have no idea.
If I'm not mistaken, when they dug up Coors Field, they found a dinosaur bones.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why it's Dinger.
Oh, awesome.
And a
Wow.
dinosaur.
Well, that's great.
So, Angelo, what is your high card?
My high card is Nico Goodrum at 179.
Oh, good card.
The hot hand. He's got the hot hand because I only have a 145 from Freddie Freeman. Yeah.
So you're in third place, 148. Angelo Trinidad.
Yeah.
Do not call it a comeback.
He's Bucky Dent.
Amazing.
Bucky effing Dent.
All right, Angelo, you're up.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll go to Topps 2020 Series 1.
Great.
All right. Keep the hot hand. Play that hot hand.
If I'll tell you right now, if there's a Pete Alonso, we're gonna call the show quits right now for the day. Ahmed Rosario, close. It was a net, but
possibility.
yeah.
You know.
Andrew Kashner,
Brewer.
Jacob deGrom,
Oh,
David. Is it Boat or Bote?
Bote.
okay.
Bote. And get your drinks ready. We got a
Oh,
brewer,
thank you.
Christian
Yeah.
Yelich.
MVP.
Cheers, boys.
I needed that. Thank you.
Paul Goldschmidt, J.P. Crawford, Kevin Pillar, Jose Abreu, Gleyber Torres, Garrett Cole. Ooh, this is awesome because it's kind of relevant to our recent text thread. But the 85 throwback Ichiro.
Nice.
Nice.
That's
cool.
That's an awesome card.
That's a good card.
Kyle Schwarber and Hector Neris.
Yes. Okay.
Nice. Kevin, you're up.
All right. Sorry. I was like, ooh, that Ichiro card. I got excited. I'm like, I should get my cards ready. That's a good card. All right. Oh, I don't want to. Here. All right. Manny Machado. Dwight Smith Jr. Gosh, I got another Matt Chapman. That's my second one in 2 packs. All right.
I believe is he a Stockton Port?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Right on. Tyler Glasnow. Kikuchi UCA.
Nice.
I saw Soroka and I almost want to say it like Japanese, but I'm like, no, Mike Soroka.
Oh.
Adam Frazier. Robbie Grossman from the Athletics. Um, oh, Jalen Davis from the Giants. I never heard of him. He must be coming up. A guy, Tommy Pham. Michael and I can talk about this guy.
I
Really like him. New Angel, Mr. Rendon, even though he's on your world champion Washington Nationals there. Oh, here we go. From the 1970s, former Angel. I know somewhere at one point I got an autograph of this gentleman, and I believe he is now a Hall of Famer, Mr. Burt Blyleven.
Yes,
awesome.
Yes, he is.
He pitched like several I think at least a couple no-hitters, and he's one of the top. He had over like 3,000 strikeouts too, from what I recall offhand. Josh Rojas from the Diamondbacks, I believe. And then Angel, Tommy La Stella.
Nice. All right. So pick out your high cards, and I will go through mine.
I don't like this so far, though.
Raisel Iglesias. The Angels, Anthony Rendon.
There you go.
Albert Almora. Ketel Marte. Chris Paddock, Future Stars.
Oh, right.
Jorge Polanco. Domingo Santana. Philadelphia Phillies team card. Manny being Manny. A co-opting here a little bit. Yeah. There's only one Manny. That's Ramirez. Sorry. Daniel Mengden, and actually, if I'm not mistaken, he has an awesome mustache. He has like a Raleigh Fingers mustache.
Nice.
Zach Wheeler.
There's only one Manny. Look at your shirt. There's only one Manny. All right.
Oh yeah, I never thought about that. But I mean, it's not Manny being Manny. Like.
All right.
Oh, this is an interesting. Decade's Best, an Indians team card.
Awesome.
Oh,
that's kind of interesting.
From what decade?
2010s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had a good run.
Yeah, they did.
2010. Yeah. David Peralta and Michael Pineda. Now, don't look at his neck. He has a little pine tar on it. He was the guy who was caught with pine tar on his neck.
What?
When he was with the Yankees.
I don't recall that one.
All right, Angelo, high card.
Kevin Pillar, 334.
Oh,
jeez. Mike Soroka, 324.
Oh.
Wow. Are we gonna get 4 in a row? Let's find out.
What is yours, Angelo?
334. Oh no.
337.
Wow.
Michael Pineda.
That's got to be the closest one yet.
Check for the pine tar. There's some controversy here.
There's a pine tar. I need to read that number.
There's pine tar. There's pine tar on that card, Mike.
I honestly thought you had 4 in a row right there.
Wow.
That was impressive. All right. A great game. So I will update these accordingly.
Gosh, we're all under 500.
Well, we have so many packs, and we're gonna mix some other packs in.
No, I just chuckle. It's funny to me.
But it's so fun to play this game, and again, we can do variants, we can do other things too. But I think it'll take more time. But
Michael,
high card winning is perfect.
I feel like a winner while I'm losing, so it's okay. We're all winning.
There you go, perfect. All right, and as Ed says. Angelo with the heat check. All right, guys. So baseball trivia. This is another fun part extension of what we do. So let's get into it.
Ready.
What American leaguer won his league's Cy Young Award 3 times in the 1970s? Now, I talked about Vida Blue, but we have Gaylord Perry, Vida Blue, Jim Palmer, and Catfish Hunter.
Wow.
Angelo, do you know a lot about the 1970s? You're gonna find out with us.
Yeah,
probably beat over the head with
it.
Yeah, so I don't know too much about the 1970s. However, being from the Bay Area, I do know quite a bit about both the A's and the Giants' history. And I know you mentioned earlier that Vida Blue. We talked about his accolades specifically in 1971 with the All-Star game and such when you're doing your research on Doc Ellis. But I'm gonna have to go with Catfish Hunter because you never bet against a catfish, I guess,
Well, Angelo,
or something like that.
there was a question. I said Catfish Hunter and I was wrong. Okay, I'm just warning you on that.
Okay.
Warning you because, which is funny because I'm like, my two choices were either Jim Palmer or Catfish Hunter on this, and I'm on the fence between those two this whole time.
Well, you're gonna have to go opposite of me. I mean, you don't have to, but I'm inclining
you just didn't have to. I was gonna say Catfish, but because you said that, I gotta go Jim Palmer. Thanks, and I'm gonna be wrong here, be right. Thanks.
Okay. So, anybody in the comments, what is yours? Without looking it up, I would appreciate that. Does anybody have a guess out there?
We talked about Catfish Hunter was on that A's teams from 72 to 74, 3 straight World Series, and then he was on the Yankees for a couple of years in the late 70s. Although I don't remember him winning a Cy Young in the late 70s, but we'll see.
Yeah. Ed also says that 70s team, which I'm not familiar with. Are you guys familiar with that 70s team?
I read once about that 70s team in a Japanese video game magazine that I once sold out of my old work.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it either.
All right, drum roll. Oh yeah, sure. The high road. Anybody? We gonna get? What's our answer, Michael?
The answer is C. Jim Palmer.
There you go, Kevin. There you go.
Who won the Cy Young Award in 73, 75, 76. Now, again, when I go down this rabbit hole of research, look at this guy's resume. It's
insane.
super impressive. And again, not talked about enough.
Wow.
And the fact that he dominated the 70s. Yeah. But also went into 83. He was on the 83 team of Baltimore that won the World Championship. So, but what I like to do, and I believe Ed made reference to this, is this is actually probably what he's known for. Was his underwear ads for Jockey. And as Ed mentions, Kevin models his underwear game after Jim Palmer. Nicely done, Ed. That is fantastic. You knew exactly where I was going with that. Yeah, Bubble Pug had Catfish. All Angels podcast had no idea. But yeah, that's pretty tremendous. But here's the thing that I also put out there, but it hasn't been confirmed. I always think that this is what Sam Malone on Cheers was based off of. His character in Cheers was always kind of like Jim Palmer.
There's no Red Sox pitcher for him to model himself after from that era?
Well, I don't think they wanted to be literal, right. But it's like it seemed like he was like this was something Sam Malone would totally do. Right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. 1000%.
Exactly.
So trying to get Christy Alley back in the 80s, you do what you got to do.
Exactly. All right. So question number 2. In 2002, who was the World Series MVP for the Anaheim Angels? Scott Spezio, Troy Percival, Troy Gloss, or Tim Salmon? Now, I have 2 Angel fans, and I'm wearing an Angel cap. I actually know this a question already. I'm going to brag.
You know what? You really have to do this to me because,
Oh, no. You don't know?
Not offhand. I think I know, but I don't know for sure, which is hilarious.
You might have your Angel card taken back on this one.
You should. Well, we talked about this on the All Angel podcast, which I'm sure you'll plug later. I was going to the games so many as a kid, but the first year I remember never going to a single game was 2002.
Wow. There's
how long I should never go to a game again, right?
there's no Brian Downing. There's
know.
no Doug DeCinces.
I know.
There's no Bobby Grich.
I know. I'm like, what's he like? I'm like, Scott Pizio, Troy Percival. Where's K-Rod?
So I know. So I don't know the answer for certain. However, I do remember Troy Percival, throwing the final out in the game winning or the series winning game. I do remember vividly Troy Glaus. They zoomed in on his face when Barry Bonds had hit a home run in that series, and he mouthed, "Oh my God, did you see how far he hit that ball?" Right. So I'm gonna go with Tim Salmon. I mean, he was he was by far the leader of that club at the time, and well respected. I'm going back and forth between Gloss and Salmon, but I'm gonna go with Tim Salmon.
I was hoping you'd take a Troy so I could take the other Troy, because this all like Adam Kennedy, he had 3 home runs in that game. He's my playoff MVP no matter what.
Right.
He said Brown, by the way.
Right.
That's what I remember. I remember watching that, and I'm like, oh God, the World Series MVP. I feel like a numbskull for not knowing this. I'll go Troy Percival. I'm probably gonna, and I might add if I'm wrong.
You say B, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay.
All the podcast don't show his answer until the end because he's probably screaming at the screen right now.
And David Eckstein was on that 2006 World Series MVP for my Cardinals.
Right to your Cardinals. I see how it is. Yep.
All Angels podcast. Adam Kennedy did win the ALCS
Thank
MVP.
You.
Okay. Yep. But All Angels podcast says C.
It's
Bubble Pug says C.
I got the wrong Troy then.
It's C.
Your winner, Troy Gloss, and I actually like to know him as a former Cardinal.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that to you. I'm like, of course, a former Cardinal.
Yeah, he destroyed in that series.
Yep.
I think Salmon hit some pretty timely hits and a home run, if I'm not mistaken. Right. But 10 hits, 7 runs, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, 4 walks, 385 average. I think he struck out 6 times, but it didn't matter. And I honestly couldn't believe it. I thought this was going to be a bit of a softball, and I did, and I did this, but that's okay. That's what's so awesome about this is
you ask me 80s Angels questions, and I might have it.
I'm kicking myself because I'll tell you, I just looked it up after you revealed the answer, and it was actually Tim Salmon that they zoomed in on and said when Barry Bonds hit the home run, that was the furthest home run he ever hit. So I'm kicking myself in the behind.
So don't worry about this because I do this all the time. Like in my memory, I remember certain things about, and I actually research it, and I'm like, how did I think that it was that and it was this? And so we actually have this kind of like memory that kind of changes things. So no problem. It was 18 years ago, by the way.
I can't believe that. I can't believe it.
All this podcast last week. You know what I mean? Last week. Not this week. I'd be getting some shame for this.
So no shame. It's all for fun. And another thing too is when I put those, I actually changed one of the names because the way it was the question was presented to me. I actually put Troy Gloss. I'm sorry, Percival in there, and there was somebody else in there that was like K-Rod.
Yeah,
and he didn't even really play. He didn't really even play in that series, right? So
did he? I thought he did at some point.
I don't think he had a big. I don't think he had a big part in it.
Right. I thought he was going after.
All Angels podcast could give it to Barry Bonds. He could have won that MVP for that series as well, and I totally agree with that. Because he's the one who basically put him there, and he kept him in it for darn sure. And so on that note, All Angels podcast, The reason why I brought this question up is because we did an interview on All Angels podcast that is now available. If you go to, I will actually put the link up, but these are really awesome guys. If you go to Halo Haven, All Angels podcast, they do I'm not sure if it's a weekly podcast. Am I correct?
Bi-weekly, yeah, or twice a week. Twice a
bi-weekly,
week.
yeah. So they're super great. They're super supportive. We love everything that they do. They support us like no other, and we're super happy to have them. And we're actually going to have hopefully Daniel on. He actually we're going to try and schedule him in so he can be a part of this. So maybe he can be a part of the guests on the Pack Wars. Maybe he can give us some knowledge about Halo Haven. They're super passionate about baseball, just like we are. And I also wanted to throw this out. This is another Angels thing. Now, if you go to Instagram, we have an Instagram for Beer Baseball. If you look at Beer Baseball on Instagram, I am going to give away, this is a Shohei Ohtani sweatshirt.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Oh, I have that. All right. Ooh.
Yes, you have it. I'm not. Actually, we went to this game. And
Yes,
we
I
got,
know we did.
Yeah. So I'm going to give this away. We have right now on Instagram. We have 925 followers. So we have a post on there about the All Angels podcast. If you go into the bio, you can go straight to it, to the actual interview. But if you go to that post on Instagram, and if you actually follow our page and comment why you should win this Shohei Ohtani, and it is Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
And it is really cool. Kevin and I both have this. Angelo, do you have one of these? Did you go to that game?
No, I was not at the game. We went to the game where we got the blanket.
Oh,
yeah.
I still use that as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
So once we hit 1,000 followers, okay, we're only 75 away. Once we hit 1,000 followers, and you actually follow us, and you actually comment on the All Angels podcast. This is the same graphic on that post. Why you should win this Shohei Ohtani sweatshirt. This is yours, and I have a sneaking suspicion that I might throw some other goodies in there too.
Oh.
So please like and subscribe. Go to our Instagram, Beer Baseball, and check this out and check out our post about this. And I want to give this away. So We're going to start doing this more regularly. I have a lot of stuff to give away. So we're trying to build not only our community, but also reward people for the little things that they can do for us.
Nice. Very good.
So let's go to this. Angelo, Trinidad, I know that you have something special that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't have a lot of I'm not really present on social media. However, based on the current climate, we also kind of see it out there in the news, with everything that happened with George Floyd and all the subsequent protests. But, I really want to take this platform and this opportunity to really spread awareness around the hashtag Black Lives Matter campaign and how passionate I am about really just moving towards living in a better world and in a better place. And a couple weekends ago, my wife and I were watching the news when all the riots were happening in LA, and it was completely heartbreaking to see that kind of behavior. And really, those are folks that are really taking advantage of the situation. But one of we do have a really good pro wrestling connection here with the show, and my good friends at Defy Wrestling, Jarrell Nelson, as well as West Coast Pro Wrestling in the Bay Area, have joined forces to create the Pro Wrestling Cares campaign fund, and the United Wrestling Network, who Mike and I have worked with in the past, and Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, has kind of joined that campaign, and they're raising money that's going to go to the Black Lives Matter Global Network, the Know Your Rights Camp, Fair Fight Action, and the National Bailout Foundation. Their initial goal was to raise $10,000, and in the span of 6 or 7 days, they were able to reach $18,000. So now their new goal is $20,000, and they are currently at $19,209 as of this morning. So if you guys want to take a second and you guys have the means to donate, you can visit defywrestling.com, DEFY wrestling.com. It's the only thing on their page is the link to donate now. Donate what you can if you have the means to, and really help us spread awareness to eliminate oppression and really work towards living in a better world. So I appreciate Mike, you allowing me to use this platform to promote that. Let's all be safe, be kind, and love one another.
Fantastically put. Thank you so much.
Don't ask me to follow that. I'm going to just echo everything Angelo just said. My personal social media does not mean anything compared to what Angelo just talked about.
And I will agree. Everything is that you can follow us is at the on the screen right now. Angelo, that is fantastic. Thank you so much for that. We will see you next week here at the Beer Baseball Blogcast. Thank you so much for making this. This has been fantastic for us mentally. We love doing it. We love talking about beer and baseball. And thank you for everybody who comes and watches, not only live, but also in the future on a replay. This has been great. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Kevin. We won't see you at the brewery, although everything is opening up. We won't see you at the ballpark anytime too soon. But like and subscribe. Follow our social media and help us grow because we love doing this and we hope you like it too. So peace out and be good to each other. Good night. Take care.